So we're almost there. Things are coming together very nicely. The only thing we're missing is set anchors. We have to somehow take a row and the row number within the board and figure out where all the anchors are and what the values of those anchors are. So finding the anchors, we can do that within the row. An anchor is something that's next to an existing letter. That will get most of the anchors, but not quite all of them. Because notice, if we didn't have this row here, we wouldn't know that that spot is an anchor. To find all the anchors, we're going to have to look at all the rows, or at least the two adjacent rows on either side. To find what the anchors are in terms of the set, can anything go there? As in this anchor, any letter can appear there, or is it a restricted set like this one? That we're also going to have to know. What are the other cross words? So here, if there's only a U there and nothing down below, this is the edge of the board, or there's empty stuff on down below, then this anchor can only be the letters that fit in there to make a word going in this direction. So let's dive right into defining set anchors. This is different than most of the functions we've written so far in that it actually mutates the row rather than returning a result. And we start in the normal way. We're going to iterate over the row, the good parts of the row. And then what I'm going to do is take the ij position in the board and find all the neighbors for that board. That is, all the squares in the north, south, east, and west location. And then I'm going to say, what are the anchors? Well, if the square is the star, the starting square, then that's an anchor, sort of by definition. Otherwise, if the square is empty and any of the neighbors is a letter, then that's an anchor. Now I've arranged that neighbors of board is a function that returns the neighbors in this order, north, south, east, and west. And now I'm saying we're operating on a row. If the neighbor to the north or the south is a letter, then we have a crossword that we have to deal with. If not, then it's an unrestricted anchor. So what do I want to do if I have these crosswords? I want to find the crossword on the board. What does that mean? Well, in this location right here, which would be row 2 and column 2, I want to say that the word on the board is an empty square followed by a U. So if I go into the interpreter, I want to be able to have this interaction where here's my board. Now if I find crosswords within that board from position 2-2, that's that position right there, right after the A and above the U, what I want to say is that there's a word, and the word is a dot followed by a U. There it is. If we fill in that anchor, we're going to have a word which is a dot followed by a U. And where does the word start? Well, it starts in position 2. It could have started someplace else. If we had a big board, there might have been a word that started all the way up here and went down. And for example, we're not actually going to call find crossword on positions that aren't anchors, but if we did, it would still work. And so if we find crosswords from position 1-2, that's the position where the A is. What's the crossword that intersects through that A? Well, that's JAG, and it begins in row number 1. So now we're up here. We found the crosswords. We found the row that the crossword begins with. We found what the word is. And now we're saying we're going to fill in this location. It's going to be an anchor, and it's an anchor where the letters are all the letters with which we can replace the dot in .u and make something which is a word. And we can go back to our interpreter and test that out. We can say, if W is the .u, then what is this anchor of all the letters where W replaced by a letter is in words? That's the anchor with X, M, and N as possibility. And now we're going to say, insert that anchor into row sub I. So insert into this spot to the right of the A, above the U, the anchor that says an X, an M, or an N can occur right in that location. So that's setting the anchor if there are cross letters above or below. Otherwise, we have an unrestricted anchor. For example, this anchor here to the left of the D, any letter can go in there, and we've already defined the global variable any to be the anchor that allows any letter to occur.